Hey, what's up? My name's Samuel Leeds, and in this video, I'm going to be answering a question that comes up all the time, which is about refinancing. People say, Samuel, how do you refinance a house? What's the difference between refinancing and remortgaging, and how does it work? So in this video, I'm going to explain that. This is a beginner's guide, and hopefully will give you some insight and wisdom around these terms, what it means, and how you can apply it to your property investment journey. So before I get started, why don't you do me a massive favor and just hit the like button? That would really help me, and it helps the algorithms so more people can see the content. Because I've had this question so many times. So refinancing, first thing I want to say is this: refinancing and remortgaging are the same thing. So it's just a different expression. So let me explain what a mortgage is first. And I know you probably already know this, but then I'm going to build on it. So a mortgage is a loan, right? So if you want to buy a house, and let's say the house is £200,000, you typically take a mortgage to buy the house. And the mortgage will generally be, if it's a house that you're buying to rent out, that's called a buy-to-let house. So if the house is a buy-to-let house, guess what type of mortgage you're going to get? A buy-to-let mortgage. And again, there's different words for mortgages: a HMO mortgage, a residential mortgage, a commercial mortgage, a buy-to-let mortgage. And sometimes it's like, oh, what does it mean? Well, all it means is a mortgage appropriate for the property you're buying. So if you're buying a commercial property, then you would need a commercial mortgage. Simple. If you're buying a house that you're going to live in it's a house that you're going to live in, we call that a residential home. Because it's yours, it's residential, it's your home. If it's a residential home, guess what kind of mortgage you're going to get? You got it, a residential mortgage. So a buy-to-let mortgage, typically, they will lend you 75% to buy the house. So again, if you're buying a house that's £200,000 and you're buying it for the sole intent to rent it out as a buy-to-let, then you're going to get a 75% buy-to-let mortgage, which would be about £150,000. Now, here's the interesting part. Let's say you buy it. Let's say you have a £200,000 house and you've got a mortgage outstanding of £150,000. You might be thinking, oh, that's debt. Pay it down, pay it off. But I would recommend not thinking of it like that. I would recommend leaving the debt, because the rent that you're getting paid should, assuming that it's a good property, be paying the interest on the debt and paying you money, which is your passive income. So the debt's helping you. That's why we call it good debt. So why pay off that debt? It's good, it's helping you. So you keep the debt. Now let's say the property, this is where refinancing comes in. Let's say the property doubles in value over the next 10 years. Let's say you buy it for 200 and then it becomes worth 400,000. Now that £200,000 uplift, the extra profit that you've got in the house because it's gone up by 200,000, that's your money, right? But how do you get it? Well, you could sell the house to get the money, and then if you sold the house, you'd sell it for 400,000. You'd get your £50,000 deposit back, plus, bang, you get your £200,000 uplift. But if you did that though, you'd lose the house. So how can you keep the house, but at the same time, get your money? That's when you need to refinance or remortgage. Because what you're gonna do, the house is worth 200,000, is refinance means getting a new mortgage. That's what it means. So if you ever hear someone say, oh, I'm refinancing, what that means is they're getting a new mortgage. If your house is worth 400,000 and you refinance it, well, how much is the bank gonna lend you? Well, they're gonna lend you 75% of 400,000. Problem, what about the existing mortgage? We'll get there. So if the house is now 400,000 and the new lender comes in and goes, well, I'll give you 75% of the new value. Therefore, the new lender is prepared to give you 300,000. Here's what happens. The new lender gives you 300,000, but with that 300,000, you have to pay the 150,000. So you pay off the old mortgage with the new mortgage. So if they give you a £300,000 mortgage, you pay off the £150,000 mortgage, and you're left with £150,000. So you got your money from the refinance, but you've still got the house. Your debt on the house has gone up, but so is the value. And now you've pulled the money out by refinancing. Now that money, how does it work? Do they just give it to you? Does it just go into your bank? Do you have to pay tax on it? How does it work? Yes, they just give it to you. They give you that money into your bank and you pay zero tax on that money. That is a loan. The reason you pay no tax on the money is because even though it's technically profit, because your house has gone up in value, so you've gained, and then you've taken the money out, you've taken it out in the form of debt. You've taken it out in the form of a loan. And the HMRC, the government, cannot tax you on debt. So it's a very clever way to release money out of a property without selling the property. Because if you sell the property, you're going to pay capital gains tax. You're also going to lose the property. Now, you've got the money, it's tax-free, in your bank. You can use that money to buy more houses, and you've still got the rent coming in. So that's why refinancing is so good. Now, here's some complications that I need to give you about refinancing. When you buy a house, you can't refinance it for usually 2 to 3 years. And the reason is because, let's say you buy a house really cheap, and then you add value, and the house just shoots up in value in the next 12 months. You buy it for 100 grand, and then after 6 months, it's worth 150. You can't refinance it because the first lender, the mortgage company that gave you that first mortgage, will usually tie you into at least 2 years of a fixed term. So if after 6 months you want to get a new mortgage and pay that old lender off, they'll be like, you've only had the money 6 months. So you need to pay us something called early repayment fees, which is usually a few £1,000s. So if you're buying a property with the sole purpose of pushing the value up and then refinancing it and pulling your money out, you shouldn't buy it with a mortgage in the first instance. You should buy it with a bridging loan, because a bridging loan is something that bridges the gap between the purchase and the refinance. I hope this is making sense. When I first learned this about 14 years ago, it blew my mind. I didn't understand it. So maybe you have to watch this video a couple times over. But if you can get your head around this, it will really help you as a property investor. Next thing, maybe you bought a house and you live in the house and it's a residential house. Maybe you bought the house for 150 grand. Maybe it's a flat, but it's your home. If your home doubles in value, let's say you bought it for 150, now it's worth 300, can you refinance it? And the answer is yes. You can refinance it on a residential mortgage. The only thing to be mindful of is that if you're refinancing your home, the new mortgage lender will want to make sure that you can afford the new mortgage payments. So if you're earning really low, but you've got a house that's really high in value and you're trying to get a mortgage on it, you might struggle. You might be better to just sell it and then use the money to reinvest in property. So there's a little bit of a crash course on refinancing and what it means. I hope you found this video helpful. I'm going to be making more videos similar to this, so hit me with your questions below and I'll see you next time.